I've seen this path, for lack of a better word, for years. Never taken it. Usually you only see the odd teenager take it because it's treacherous. And it's steep, and it leads out onto a narrow rock, I don't know what you call it, a peak or jettison that hangs out over the forest. Probably not the best time to try. Muddy, leaves, but I'm feeling it, so we're going to cross fingers, turn this off, carefully try to slide my way down, and then hopefully if I make it, we'll turn the camera back on. Here we go. So I just carefully low to the ground, slid my way down to here. I can see why the teens do come here, because of that, which I didn't even know was there, so I guess you gotta come down here to do. Now I am gonna have to make a jump. But there's no leaves on the other side, so I think it's safe. It's not far. I'm gonna stretch my legs. So don't do this at home, kids. I'm not recommending this spot for everybody, but I'm gonna show it to you. So here I go. Hello. Well, as you can see, I'm enjoying this little jettison rock thing that comes out here and hangs over this spillway. Get out in nature whenever you can. You start to realize just how abundant we are. Planet Ocean is miraculous. It's absolutely miraculous. There's enough renewable resources, space, medicines, food, and learning material. Everything we learn, science itself, it learns from nature. It completely learns from nature. That's what science is. So this planet is a teacher to us, a grand teacher at all times. So here we live on planet Ocean in a total abundance, paradise. And yet, the human condition, in general, society lives, the general masses live in an illusion of lack and competition where no competition is needed. And as I've said before, this is because of man's fear of the unknown, which is the mind's fear of the unknown, which is why the mind doesn't like stillness. It likes it in small doses. But that's why people even struggle with meditation. I'm going to change this camera angle because I can't keep that up. So, everything is a reflection of our own individual human journey. So society itself, the world itself, the man-made world, is a reflection of us. We're at chaos inside, so we see a lot of chaos. There's a lot of beauty and love and peace in us, and we see that in the world as well. But it's this fear of the unknown, because that's the only real reason anyone would devastate this planet and be so determined to continue that path. That's the only reason anyone or any small group would want to control others, is a fear of lack, trying to keep as much for themselves, keep control. That's just the human condition manifested. And each of us add to this manifestation. So it's not just, we can't blame it just on a small few. Yes, those are the most extreme that have, created the most profound expression of that in society and keep it going, but we also feed that by supporting them and by our own vibrations and the way we live our lives and participating in things that support them. So It all comes down to each of us again. But we live in complete abundance here. And when we cultivate self-love, when we get out in nature and remember, not here, but here, remember, feel the remembering of how connected we are to it all. The more we cultivate that, the more we cultivate self-love and unconditional love, which comes from self-love, the more at peace, the more we won't resist stillness. And the more we return to stillness, our true state, then the fears fade away. And so it's up to us, and up to us to teach our children. More than teach, but be the example. Be the change. And the more we do that, the more we'll have a different generation, and then another different. And we are seeing it. A more enlightened generation coming along. And we have seen the last few generations, some, yes, very stuck in the system, even more so than the previous, but we also see many, they go by many names. It's indigo children, star children. But those are the most obvious, but there's all kinds of others in the generations that are ahead of us in that sense, that are more enlightened and more connected. So the more we cultivate this in ourselves and our children, the more joyous life is, first of all. Life becomes not a struggle for survival, because we're not here to survive. Our existence here is just a fraction of our total existence. Whether you believe in some sort of afterlife, or whether you just accept basic science, which shows us energy never ends. We know that, and we're made of energy, so we don't end. So no matter how you look at it, we're infinite. And this is a tiny little fraction of that. Very short. On Paradise, planet Ocean. So we're on vacation. We're on a holographic, complex holographic vacation that responds to us, to what we create. We create it as we go along. So it can be anything we want. I'm sure that's what inspired Fantasy Island. It was an old TV show from the 70s. And I never really watched too much of it. I did watch a little. I don't remember much about it now, but basically people would go to this island and anything is possible. They'd be flown in this gorgeous island and anything they want would be manifested. Anything. And some people would have challenges. And always the host would remind them to not take it so seriously and remind them that they're the ones creating it and guide them through it for those that have an intense experience. And then others would have the most magical experience. And in the end, they all had a magical experience. And that's a reflection. That's what this is. This is Fantasy Island. We live on Fantasy Island. Anything and everything is possible. And any suffering is an illusion we create ourselves. So return to stillness, return to yourself, return to nature. The mind will resist. It'll come up with a million reasons. Every time we go to nature, we never regret it. And yet we come back, and then before we know it, a long time has passed, and we're resisting getting back out in nature. We all do it. Well, we don't all do it, but a lot of us do it. And the mind will come up with a million reasons. I'm too busy. I have to work. It's too cold. It's too hot. It's too rainy. I'm too lazy. I'm too bored. These are all illusions created by the mind. The mind wants to keep its chatter going. Try to control and not open up to the unknown, to the wonders. mind can appreciate the wonders, but it's also afraid of the wonders, because as you discover them, you're opening up to it. It's the unknown. You never know what you're going to find. So return to stillness, cultivate it, return to nature. And practice acceptance and gratitude in your everyday life. Enjoy your life. And if you find yourself getting pulled into the dramas or the illusions, return to stillness, return to nature, return to anything that creates a similar feeling. It could be hobbies or art forms or music. Whatever it is for you, do that. Whatever it is you enjoy. And by doing that, that's how we make the biggest change. Not by fighting the system in place. Although that has its merit too. You know, we're all free here. You're free to do what you want. So some feel moved to do that. Some of us do it in milder ways, a more of non-cooperation way. There's all kinds of ways, routes we can go. But the biggest, most profound, and yes, sometimes it's not as obvious as the others. You can't see it in that very moment. But truly, as this is all stemming from creation, this is all our own creation. It's vibration. We are the masters of our own experience. We change the way we see life, ourselves, existence. We change the way we see things, change our perception, we change our experience. We vibrate on a high level of self-love and unconditional love. And that will be the most profound change here. It is the most profound change. It will continue to. And it is increasing. If we only let the mind focus on the negative, yes, we could look and always see it as grim, things getting worse. But it's just a reflection of the yin and the yang. And some would say, it's one way to look at it. You could also look at it as just our internal struggle. It's a reflection of our internal struggle. We're still struggling to let go of our older ways and get back to our original ways. But we do live in absolute abundance. We are gifted in every single moment. And yet, human nature, we get amnesia and we take it for granted. But smells, taste, touch, sound, music, food, taste, art, the list goes on and on. Our very breath, every breath is a gift. And this planet is just endlessly abundant in gifts for us. Beauty and art and lessons and food and resources. Renewable resources. Endless renewable resources. So go live your life, enjoy your life. Be abundant. Be abundant, feel abundant, because you are abundant. At all times, no matter the situation, at all times. If you're alive, you're abundant. Cultivate that. Enjoy that. Be that. And you'll send that out into the world. You'll set an example. You'll be moved to do things that create a different world. You'll inspire others, and vibrationally you'll actually create a different world. Enjoy your abundance.